I hoped I'd bump into you another time. I have something I wanted to say to you. Just... thanks. It's funny. I practiced this whole big speech about how your advice got me through some tough times. How I feel like a better person because I met you. But you know what? Thanks is simpler. Before we met, I was an insecure wreck. Or it felt like I was. But I don't think myself into a downward spiral as much anymore. I feel more confident. Like the person I wanted to be when I first joined the Ravenwatch. Apparently the rest of the Ravenwatch noticed my attitude changed as well. Now I nearly have more missions than I know what to do with. Reconnaissance, reports, diplomatic work. In fact, I should get back to it. Farewell, friend. I always feel glad to see you, but I may not cross paths with you for the foreseeable future. Off to new lands. Apparently the rest of the Ravenwatch noticed my attitude changed as well. Now I nearly have more missions than I know what to do with. Reconnaissance, reports, diplomatic work. In fact, I should get back to it. Farewell, friend.
Move along, outsider, before I put a buzzard hole in you!
Well, good to see you, my friend. I could use an ally in this desolate place. The Grey Host has turned his attention upon the Reach, but the local ruler refuses my help. This so-called Despot of Markarh thinks walls and sentries will hold back their fury. Ard Caddach. He rules the Reach from Understone Keep in Markarth. I've come to offer my help against the Grey Host, but he has turned me away time and time again. Meanwhile, even here, in the shadow of the city, the Grey Host plots and conspires. It's an alliance of vampires, witches, and werewolves bent on slaughter and destruction. To protect the Reach, I need to learn why the Grey Host has come here, and I need to secure the cooperation of Ard Caddach. Would you be willing to help me? With your help, we may save the Reach yet. While I continue to exert diplomatic pressure, I need you to find information the Ard will consider valuable. Something concerning the rebels that plague his rule, perhaps. Start by talking to the sentry. Reach folk deal in bargains. They respect strength and skill, and they believe in rewarding favors. If we can bring something important to the Ard while demonstrating these qualities, I think he'll agree to hear us out. If we're to stop the Grey Host and help the Reach, we don't have a choice. At the very least, we need his resources and support. In my time here, I've heard about these rebels, but I'm not sure the extent of their rebellion. See what you can learn. Remember, remain respectful but wary when dealing with Reach folk. They don't suffer long speeches, or even short ones. Keep your conversation with the sentry brief and to the point. This Grey Host is somehow connected to the army that ravaged the land in the First Era. Like their ancient counterpart, I assume they seek to conquer and destroy. I need to learn more to know for sure. Meanwhile, we must get the Reach to prepare. Yes, so my ward Fenorian has told me, which is even more of a reason for you to help me here in the Reach. Whatever Radar al-Saran began in Western Skyrim, I believe he has something even more terrible in mind for the Reach folk. No, of course not. I won't mince words. The Reachmen are a stubborn and unruly people. They resort to violence at the least provocation, but despite the opinion of most civilized Tamriel, they aren't frothing barbarians. The Reach folk possess a distinct culture that you'll see during your time here. They also enjoy the same capacity for virtue and evil as Bretons, Nords, and the other peoples of Tamriel. Animal skins don't make one a barbarian. actions do. And you as well. I only wish we weren't in the midst of yet another crisis. I formed the Ravenwatch to deal with this type of eventuality, but even with centuries to prepare, I find myself caught off guard. And Caddach's stubbornness doesn't help.
Didn't you hear? You and that fancy bastard aren't welcome here. Get! Or I'll make a scarf out of your guts! We know all about the Blood Drinkers and the Beast Folk. We were dealing with them just fine before Ard Caddach called us back to Markarth. The Witch Rebels are a bigger threat, along with outsiders who try to get into our business. Some wilder witch has been stirring up the clans to the east of Markarth, making trouble for Ard Caddach. But we'll have her head on a pike soon enough. Look, if you want to see the Ard, then bring news he doesn't know. Something about the rebels.
Get away from me, you reeker! You think a Reach warrior with only one good leg can't cut you? Well, think again! The Grey Host? Does it look like I've been bitten or clawed? It was the damn Witch Rebels. And they can't tell a Reach folk from a monster any better than you can! They thought I was one of those invaders. Spirits, take the lot of them! Aye, like a pack of wild dogs they were. Kept shouting Arana, Arana as they bore down on me. I took an arrow in the leg before they listened to me. Before they decided I wasn't an invader. I think Arana spoke to me. I think she was their leader. No, like ghosts these rebels are. I plan to return to Markarth and petition the Ard to let me take a war party out to find them. They must be hiding in the eastern foothills. I don't care if they are fighting the Grey Host. They're mine.
I heard that chipmunks abound in the Reach. I'm here to learn from them, and maybe teach them a thing or two.
I'm waiting for Ard Caddach to muster the clans.
Are you now? And what do you plan to do about it? Join those rebels? You wouldn't have the first clue about how to find them.
That's where you're wrong. Connell says they're gathering in the eastern foothills.
Well, then your head can wind up on a pike with the rest of them, you damn fool.
Yeah, my friend. Was your hunt successful? You couldn't have timed your arrival any better. Ard Caddach holds court as we speak. We'll never have a better chance to gain an audience with him. Did your investigation uncover anything we can use? What did you learn? Arana? I have heard that name during my time here. Did you happen to learn what these rebels are rebelling against? Flee this city? With a Grey host prowling the countryside? Well, that's 3 valuable pieces of information. I want you to represent me before Ard Caddach. Explain what you learned and convince him to finally agree to meet with me. Speak with the Ard Sentry. You'll need to convince her to gain an audience with Caddach. I think the information you uncovered about the rebels will be enough to interest the Despot of Markarth, but you can never be too certain with Reach folk. I'm lucky to have made it this far into the city. Caddach and his entourage have little patience for a noble such as myself, especially a noble from a land they consider to be the home of their enemy. Now, this task is better in your hands. I shall wait around here and continue to discreetly learn what I can about the Reach and its people. I also want to think about Arana and her rebels. Maybe there's a way to add them to our arsenal. Go. I'll be here when you get back.
You again? You dare to disgrace Understone Keep with your presence, outsider? That takes guts, I'll give you that. What's your business in the Ard's Keep? Do you now? And you want to share that information with Ard Caddach? You're certainly full of surprises, outsider. All right, I'll allow you to approach the throne, if your courage holds out. Fair warning, the Ard's in a foul temper today. Not yet you don't, but you will. Ard Caddach's as likely to remove your head from your shoulders as listen to you, so talk fast, outsider. And remember, the Ard has no patience for fools or flatterers. Keep that in mind.
What fool do I have to behead for letting you in here? You're not of the Reach or the clans. You've either got the sense of a goat or the heart of a saber cat, and I'm eager to find out which. Now, speak plainly. What brings you to the Despot of Markarth? The fancy elf, who won't take no for an answer, eh? Yeah, he should have made this offer earlier. News concerning the rebels is a beast worth skinning. Tell me something I don't know, and won't have you fed to my hunting dogs. Spies in my city? Well, that would explain some things, but that and a vague location aren't enough to get me to sit down and drink with a high elf. What else have you got? And remember, my patience is wearing thin. Arana. I know that name. She's a honey-tongued fanatic who refused to bury her sword when I forged a peace with the Grey host. She's slippery, eh? But I didn't realize she led the rebels. Sniffing out her Reach witch. That commands respect. For now. Aye, they agreed to spare the city while they look for some ancient relic. Dwarven, I suspect. They can have it. Verandis wants to meet? Then talk to my advisor, Lady Boleyn. Track down Arana for her, and I'll listen to every word he has to say.